I wander free. I let it be, the world's my home.
I'm Barbara Lapointe. I'm so happy to be here on behalf of Clipston Publishing. We're talking today about the Wanderlust Chronicles series, Transformative Travel Tales. These are real stories of real women like me, like you, and like our next author in the book, whom I'm so excited to chat with. Deepa, hello.
Hi, Barbara. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I love your chapter. Look at these gorgeous photos.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. How exciting.
Oh, it's so good. So good. And I'm just going to let our audience know the title is To Antarctica by Deepa Gleason, From Fire to Flow, A Journey Through Water, Ice, and the Self. Deepa, tell us about yourself. You describe yourself as a visionary and a healer, and you're with us all the way from Costa Rica.
Yeah. I've lived in Costa Rica since 2008. I could talk about myself for a long time. You know, I hold a master's degree in traditional Chinese medicine. I have a master's degree in medical qigong. I've been a registered nurse and an herbalist. I ran massage schools. I've done all kinds of things, and I
Yeah.
really enjoy my life.
Yes, I love your smile and that you're talking to us in a pouring rainstorm from Costa Rica. And you
Ah,
have like this interesting story about Antarctica. And I think it's kind of timely because people are thinking about Antarctica now in the world. I can't imagine going there. I'm so cold just thinking about it. But you say you went there in your mid 30s and you describe yourself as a fire incarnate. And that I need you to unpack for me.
okay. Um, well, in Costa Rica, we say chispa, spark. I move quick, I think quick. And in Western astrology, I have 5 signs in fire sign, 5 planets in fire signs. So all of that is fire. My health problems tend to be excessive heat related, redness to the skin, all heat. So this trip back in 2006, I was really seeking to balance the water energy because I felt really fiery. And so I went to one of the largest waterfalls in the world. I crossed the Roaring Forties, which is the meridian where there's no land at all. And I went to the largest ice field and an uninhabited continent, Antarctica. So it was really a powerful experience in a multitude of ways, working with water in the form of water, water in the form of ice, and water in the form of vapor coming off of all those waterfalls.
That's really fascinating because when I first read it, I was like fire and then ice, and they seemed like such polar opposites, pardon the pun. Um, but clearly, this is a bit metaphorical, and this seems like a really a spiritual journey that you took us on in the chapter and in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been very spiritual my whole life, and I had just graduated from the my master's in Chinese medicine 2 years prior to this trip. And that's when I really got to understand the energetics from the philosophy of traditional Chinese medicine and the 5 elements. And it's like, wow, I really got a lot of this fire stuff. And so when my dad wanted to go and my mom didn't want to, and she didn't want him to go alone, I said, all right, I'll check it out.
But like so you went and checked it out, but like the fire element, the fire inside of you, it wasn't a bad thing, but it sounds like something that you were seeking balance upon.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back to the analogy of Western astrology, the people who had done, I think twice I had that done, they talked about I have incredible fire in my chart, but all the other elements in Western astrology were in powerful positions, which made them strong. But in my life, I felt more fire, quick to anger, quick just quick, drive fast, hike fast, ride bikes fast, like to go fast, fast, fast. I was like, I need to like balance this a little bit. So I used this trip. And in that one picture with my hair all like this, I was doing Qigong on the very top of the boat. We're in the boat cruising through Antarctica between some glaciers. And I climbed up the ladder to the very top of the captain's thing and was doing Qigong. And my dad snapped a couple pictures. So it was really windy. That's why my hair's all flying. And it was a powerful moment.
Yeah, that's a beautiful photo. I'm sure you did have some powerful moments. Did you have any like radical raw emotions that shifted you into more balance or deeper self-awareness?
Radical raw moments. I'm not sure if that would be a term I would use, but I could definitely say that while I was in Antarctica, which is the entire continent is a nature preserve, no country can lay claim to it. It had a vibration that kind of permeated in me where nature was all that was dominant, and nature was extremely dominant. There's these little enclaves of research stations and miles of ice and glacier and penguins in between. So I'm not sure if it changed anything specifically, but being exposed to an entire continent that is not claimed by any country, I guess you could say it showed me limitless freedom.
Wow.
As on the water, you're under maritime law. So as a registered nurse, I could practice as a physician on the water. Gambling's legal in international waters and all of these kind of legal things. But for me, it was more about the energetics to come into a place where there's 20,000 penguins and no humans. It was pretty cool.
That is so really radically cool. I mean, I think a penguin would make an amazing friend.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because I do have a very strong spiritual practice and meditation. Even back then, the guides were like, okay, you can't touch the penguins, you can't touch them. But I'd be walking along and the little baby penguins were coming up to me. I had some pictures where one's standing on my foot, chewing on my pants. So, and the guide's like, you can't touch the penguins. I'm like, I'm not touching the penguins. He walked up to me and he's standing on my foot. What am I supposed to do?
Well, all right. So let me see if I'm understanding this. There's penguins, there's ice, there it's cold. What did you hear? Because what did you hear? Like what is the sound of this place of limitless freedom that you
Here
felt?
in my ears or in my heart?
Oh, wow. Well, both.
Okay. In my ears, there was waves and wind and the sounds of the penguins and the seals and the whales when I was on the boats and stuff. But in my heart, I heard silence. I heard stillness. I heard the infinite vastness. Like the internal world that you explore in meditation was physically present in my external environment. There was no TVs or commercials or radios, no cell service, nothing. It was me and the vast infinite presentation of nature in that very specific realm, which is not duplicated anywhere.
That's
So
that's really fascinating. I
thank you.
mean, very fascinating and also so timely with everything that's going on in the world. It's so timely. This is truly a unique place that you went. So you took that all in through your heart. I just keep wanting to go back more to the frequency and the gifts of the frequency of this place and the gifts that it gave you. Like, what is the gift of silence in such a noisy world we live right now?
Wow. Well, it it affected me so deeply that I don't think I could ever really be comfortable living in a city again. Um, I I don't like to be overwhelmed with vibrations, you know. And like I remember recently I was, okay, maybe 2 years ago, I was staying in a hotel and there's people above and people below, and I could just feel all the anxiety and the stress, and I just wanted to run outside and go hug a tree. So it made me connect more deeply with nature, which I was already incredibly connected to. And it pushed me further towards my vision of what I've been doing in Costa Rica, because that was 2006. And so 2 years later is when I bought this land and started doing what I wanted to do here in Costa Rica.
That interests me. What are you doing in Costa Rica? Because that sounds very, I'm curious about that.
Absolutely. I have 200 acres here. Probably 160 are still primary rainforest, which I preserve. I keep the hunters off and don't, try not to allow development here. And in the remaining 40 acres, I have basically built a retreat learning center and a farmstead. So I have about a 35-acre garden. I've planted over 4,000 trees in over 150 species in my years here. So now I'm in full production on a lot of these trees are producing now. Of course, some of them were not planted in the beginning. So I'm making use of that. I'm making jams and jellies and medicines. I'm selling them at stores and farmers markets. I offer retreats. I have rental, short-term and long-term rentals, 2 complete houses right now, and a youth hostel, little event center. I've got, like right now, I'm on my covered yoga deck, and I have an open air yoga deck, a little restaurant. And it's about a place for people to connect with nature and themselves and ultimately realize there's no difference, right? So some people come here and they want, healing services. And so I give them acupuncture. I do forest bathing. I instruct them in meditation and Tai Chi and Qigong. Some people come here and they just want to bird watch. And so I hook them up with professional birders with all the scopes, and they go out and do that. So I'm making a place for people to reconnect with themselves along the pathway that they see fit. And the secondary aspect of that is community. Before the pandemic, I purchased an extra 15 acres that border my property, and I have that subdivided. I want to put in an assisted living and a hospice facility there and get some other people to live there and work with me to create an alternative to the systems that we see collapsing. I don't want people to focus on fear. Oh my God, what if, what if, what if? I want to have people have tools so they can be comfortable as this stuff happens. When you go to the store and there's nothing on the shelf, what are you going to do? Well, I'm offering people the skill sets. Like I have a program called the Seed to Self, where I teach people about how to milk animals, how to raise chickens, how to make jams, how to make fermented beverages, how to ferment your foods, how to make your own laundry soaps and deodorants and toothpaste and stuff. So when that stuff's not available, you could take ingredients that are easy to find around and continue to care for yourself. So living from the heart, not from the fear.
What about women who are reading your chapter? What would you hope that they would take away from it?
Brings me back to an old rap group from New York, I believe. They had this song called Don't Believe the Hype. And that's been like my mantra for years. Don't believe the hype. Just because someone tells you you're a woman, you can't be a doctor, you can't be an engineer, you can't go buy 200 acres in the rainforest and live your dream. Don't believe the hype. Listen to your dreams and let them manifest through you. That's
Wow.
kind of where I'm going with that. I also wrote a chapter for the next book that focuses more on that aspect of it. But it makes me so sad when I see people who feel trapped and they're so scared where they are, and they're so scared to leave where they are. I want to be the person to say, leave where you are. Do what you want. Live your dream. Don't live in fear. Don't let fear be your compass. Let love be your compass. If this brings you love, if this brings you joy, do it. It'll work out. Don't be like, Oh, but how am I going to pay for my kid to go to college in 16 years? Well, worry about that a little bit later. Right now, what brings you joy?
Yes, that's true. We are all kind of programmed to think that way, actually. I think, like, what about this and what about that? And to live in this very sort of tight
Little
way.
box.
A
Yeah,
little
little.
box.
I want to open the box. Come on out. Look, there's trees and flowers and birds and bees, and they're not that scary.
Yes. I'm curious, when you spend all this time in nature with trees, birds, bees, penguins, how does that impact your personal intuition?
Oh, it deepens it profoundly. Oh, you're walking down a dangerous path. Are you sure you want to go here?
Well,
Do
let's
it.
go.
Okay. So one of the things that happened, I was stationed as a nursing job up in Northern California in a town called Chico, and I was living on an 8-acre orchard. And I did my meditation, and then I went out into the orchard and was doing some qigong movement meditation after my seated meditation. And I realized the trees were talking to me. I could talk to the trees. And as I deepened my connection with those trees, I realized they were sending me messages from my trees here in Costa Rica. It like so I learned about it learns about the interconnectivity of things. You know, they talk about the mycelium network and stuff, but
Mhm.
it's international. It's not just local to my farm. When I realized that is how communication was happening with the trees and stuff, and I realized there really is no distance where there is love. You know, it's kind of a classic meditator saying. And but I live it now. I know it. I see it. I do it. I be it. It's no other way for me to look at things now is the interconnectedness of everything.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean that's beautiful. I mean, I think trees have a lot of gifts and like you said, well, like I'm saying, we're so disconnected, generally speaking, from nature.
Yes. I this this happened to me one time. I was at a Zen center in California in the hills, and I was doing a meditation, and they practice silence a lot as Zen Buddhists. And I was walking down the pathway to the women's hot spring section, and I was behind 3 young women who were doing their summer internship there. And one of them says, "When I get out of this place, I am so through with nature." I almost fell out laughing on the ground. I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to go back to San Francisco where food comes in styrofoam and plastic wrap, and you don't realize that there's a bald eagle flying over our heads right now, and there's no way to be through with nature. You are part of it. What are you going to do?
Isn't that
So,
interesting? You're right.
yeah. So
Oh my,
those kind of experiences just coalesce my connectivity with nature.
beautiful. I don't think this interview would be complete without asking you about Chinese medicine, because you've mentioned it multiple times and not everyone is familiar with it. What are the benefits, for example, of Chinese medicine, Tai Chi, Qigong?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for asking. So I used to be a professor in this field, so it's another long pathway we could walk down. But here's in a nutshell. There's Eastern medicine and Western medicine. So the Western medicine is based on Da Vinci and these people who like looked at dead bodies, cut them open and said, let's call this a heart. And I think it does that. And let's call this a liver. And I think it does that. In the East, they looked at that and they said, that's dead. I want to know what makes it alive. So they used a different microscope. They looked at the energy and the relations. And so they looked at a mountain and said, well, the top of the mountain is hot and dry, and down in the river valley, it's dark and moist. And hey, wow, our bodies are like that too. It's dark and moist between my legs and hot and dry on the top of my head. So they created an energy medicine. It's built, the connections are different, the physiology, the pathophysiology, it's completely different than what I do as a nurse, but I love it. Some people are like, oh, well, energy doesn't exist. Like, oh yeah, let's talk about that. This is part of my introductory lectures. I'm thinking, I want to move my finger. So you put the EEG monitor on me and you could see the waves in my brain go and move my finger. Then you put the EMG and you could follow down the energy going through my nerves to the muscles that make my finger move. And then I want to stop moving my finger, the same thing. You can follow that. So what I have is energy moves before matter moves. So Chinese medicine is an energy medicine. It's a much finer microscope. We can see and detect imbalances in the flow of the energy in your body way before it's going to show up on a lab test that your doctor says, well, I'm sorry you're depressed and you're sleeping poorly and you're having night sweats, but all your lab work looks perfect. So here, take an antidepressant. That's the person that comes to Chinese medicine and will say, yeah, this energy imbalance is leading to your insomnia, and this here is leading to your night sweats and your hot flashes. And so then I look at the actual acupuncture as I feel like I'm an air traffic controller, and put me in Rio de Janeiro, or put me in New Delhi. We got ox carts and elephants and dogs and motorcycles, and it is so easy to get in accidents. And then I go with my needles and say, okay, there's a car accident at 34th in Maine. So everybody take a left and go down this street until we get this cleared up. You know, it's treating the energy of the body, which to me is way more powerful. In ancient China, the doctors only got paid if you were healthy. If you got sick, you didn't have to pay because the doctor wasn't doing the job. So having that balance prevents illness and those kind of things. So for me, I'd go, even though I've been an ER nurse for 37 years, I would go to an acupuncturist or a herbalist way before I'd go to a doctor. Unless my arm was broken and hanging, then I'd go to the hospital. But otherwise, I would look at all the other alternatives to that first. Does that clarify a little?
That's very interesting. I mean, I totally agree with you. I think that's really interesting. I love the way you said that it's so basic but so profound that energy moves before matter moves. In
Yep.
reference to Chinese medicine, but it's also like a spiritual principle and manifestation
Absolutely.
or reality creation.
Right. Like the Abraham Hicks and stuff. They talk about holding your vibration high to bring you more things that hold your vibration high. It works the same in medicine.
Isn't that interesting? And that's how it comes back to everything being interconnected.
Mhm. Yep. Isn't
Now,
that neat?
it's so neat, so neat, all these things you're sharing with us today. Now, you're in Costa Rica, you've been to Antarctica, I imagine you've been to other places. How important is our container, our environment that we're in, to manifesting and creating the life that we deserve?
Well, if you're super spiritually advanced, the location doesn't matter. I'm not there, so the location matters. I need to be in nature to feel the connectivity more profound. When I'm in cities, I feel the energy and anxiety of all the stuff going on around me, the banker wondering if his ledger's going to balance, the guy trying to sell me cell phones on the street, and I feel imbalanced there. I need to be immersed. I don't know if you could hear those toucans back there. There's some toucans back there.
Oh,
I need to hear that stuff to feel my personal balance.
any advice for the times we're living in? Do you have a sense, the energetics of the time we're living in? I know you're in Costa Rica, so you're not like in Canada. Maybe I don't even know if you watch the news, but it's just very interesting times we're living in. And what parting counsel would you give to women listening, or humans listening, in terms of the energetics of right now and where we're all at in this world?
Okay. A few things I think of, don't believe the hype, don't worry, be happy, go with your inner guide, your emotional intelligence meter. If you got the heebie-jeebies in your belly about going down that street, don't do it. Listen to the messages that are coming that are not on the TV or the radio or your cell phone. You're getting messages from the trees and the birds and everything. And a lot of people are trained not to listen to that stuff. But I could assure you, when you do listen to that, you have better outcomes. You don't have to live in so much fear, and more good stuff comes when you listen internally in a more open way. You know, turn off the TV, throw the TV away if you want. Some people feel they need to know what's going on in these crazy times. You want to be more in tune with the natural flow underneath it, because a lot of this stuff we're calling crazy, the wars, I mean, I get some information, but I don't watch news. I don't have a TV. It distracts us from our true nature as infinite beings in the physical world. So if you're able to focus on your infiniteness and your unity with everything rather than focusing on divisions, don't be scared. Don't let fear rule you. Look for the inner guidance and the light, because it's there. There's so much right now in these transition times designed to hide it from us and make it go away and make it not seem real. But it is realer than ever, and it is always there. And if you could get your guidance from that rather than from outside sources, you're going to be much happier as this craziness continues.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with us. And
Oh,
I really enjoyed it, and I feel like lighter. And I know
yay.
that's going to resonate out and impact any human being listening to our conversation today, anywhere in the world. Aw, I encourage.
That's
Go
that
ahead.
makes me so happy.
Yeah, me too. I encourage everyone to check this book out, order it off of Amazon. You can read her personal story in here, Transformative Travel Tales. Yeah, so we will see you in Costa Rica. Would you like to drop any handle or share how someone can get in touch with you if they want to know more about you?
Absolutely. I would recommend my website.
Okay.
That's www.luz del corazon, that's Spanish for light of the heart, LUZDELCORAZON.net, luzdelcorazon.net. The site's in English, but I picked a Spanish name because I wanted to be in the community. So on that site, I put events and ways to visit, some of the healing services I'm offering, special promotional deals. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and I have a YouTube channel as well. So I'm not that hard to find.
Oh
On my
my
YouTube, I have a Facebook group where I teach Qigong and we address people's mental and physical health. And I put those videos on my YouTube channel. I am all about people learning about their true nature, about people feeling free, about operating from the essence of your core, not from the feedback you get from the physical world around you, because you're so much more than that.
Oh, what a powerful way to end. I encourage everyone to check out the YouTube channels, all her, everything, Luz del Corazon, and I will put those in the show notes for you. Signing out, Barbara Lapointe on behalf of Clipston Publishing. Thanks again, Deepa.
Thank you. Such a joy.
Bye-bye.
Golden light on my skin, it glows. Ocean whispers where the wild wind